So I am new to St. Croix. It's been a year.
You live here now?
I live here now. I just moved from St. Thomas a year ago. And St. Croix people are some of the nicest people I've met. I kid you not. What does it mean to be a true Crucian for you?
Pride.
Okay.
We carry ourselves a certain way that no matter where you go, when you see it's something about our aura, about our presence, you almost know
That's
that
a Crucian.
person has to be a
That's
Crucian.
a Crucian. Okay.
It's a pep in our steps. It's the way we speak. We have a swag, like a laid back, you know, and I think it's something that it shows in everything that we do. So it's just a way that we carry ourselves, the way that we speak, and I think it's something that's infectious.
So I met the real Crucian now.
This is a Crucian.
And we are back with All We TV and Allison. And before we left for the break, you said PhD, and a light bulb went up in my head because I'm also a PhD student. Why a PhD? What is it in? Why? Like I want to hear all about that.
I am all about moving to the next level. Remember I mentioned glory to glory.
Yes.
And my uncle attained his PhD, and immediately I knew I had to do it as well. And my mother never got past the 6th grade.
Okay.
And she wasn't a person that pushed us with education. She expected us to do well as it pertains to education. And I wanted to be a great example to my children because I am a strict parent when it comes to school. It is not an option to not do well. Where I see you need help, as a mother, as a parent, I'm going to do what I can to give you the resources. So I wanted them to see me continuing and striving to be the best that I could be. So I'm attending UVI, doing my PhD in creative leadership and change, and I'm focusing on economic development. And my dissertation, I'm so proud of it, is going to be on examining public policy and whether or not, or how does it hinder or help the development of the business sector. So it all comes into play as to what's going on here in the Virgin Islands. But I'm going to focus in on Aruba, because Aruba has basically the same infrastructure that we have, but they are leaps and bounds ahead of us. And so I want to go in and study the policies, when the recession happened, why were they able to bounce back? What did they put in place before? And what was the mindset of the politicians at that time that allowed them to continue moving along? During their recession, their banks weren't closing. Their unemployment rate remained constant. Their tourism numbers continued to increase, and they were still doing infrastructure spending. When we had our recession, it was the complete opposite. It was like a desert. So it comes down to policy, and this is why I tell people, do not focus on personality or popularity. Focus on what type of policy that your candidate wants to push. So that's the reason why I'm working on my PhD. And I got a full tuition scholarship from UVI as well, so that was an even better incentive to move forward. Thank you, and continue my education. So
you're about to be part of the 2% of the world, because only 2% of the world has a PhD. So we're about to be part of that 2%.
And I'm into statistics, so the fact that you said that was one of the reasons as well, because you want to be able to, when you speak, you want to be able to command a certain respect. You have to know what you're saying, and you have to have that passion. And I think the entire PhD environment spurs that. It forces you to research, it forces you to collaborate, and to not just accept status quo. And I think that is going to be needed in the 33rd legislature.
Well, congratulations in advance.
Thank you.
So what scares Allison? What keeps Allison up at night? Not politics, not what's happening in the Virgin Islands, but what scares you? What keeps you up at night?
You know, I was never good with death. And I am a person, for some reason, I ponder death a lot. And because I have that in me, I value things, people, time. My mother died unexpectedly Friday evening, 4:54 p.m. See the wind, I feel like. So she's here with me.
She's here.
You know? That was my fear. Because, excuse me.
No, you're good, you're good.
Because she was a person that moved in excellence in everything she did. And I learned that from her, and I thought that I could not make it without her. So whenever that would come in my mind, Rick, I would just erase it out. But I think the thing we fear most is the thing that knocks us over the head.
And helps us to build.
Helps us to build. So now she's the wind beneath my wings. She's my driving force. My last 2 conversations with my mom were powerful, positive, passionate. I was telling her how much I love her. She was telling her how much she misses us and wants to come home. Many people don't have the opportunity to say that they had those last wonderful conversations with their loved one before they transitioned on. And now I can say I am fearless.
Okay.
You know, of course I have my children, and I believe it's unnatural to bury your children. But I feel that what I've learned and the strength that I realized that I have in losing my mom and being able to work and function says that I have risen above that fear, and now I am a force to be reckoned with.
Very powerful. Very, very powerful. And I thank you for that. One responsibility of a senator is to develop and or amend legislation which creates revenue and passes the budget. And we talked about that slightly earlier. How will you work with your colleagues to address budget shortfalls and lead the Virgin Islands into a prosperous future?
Win-win. What's your platform? What legislation you want to see pushed within your 2 years? What's my platform? This is what I want to see. How do they overlap? How can we create legislation together that can knock out 2 things at the same time?
Kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
I think the fact that we focus on self and who authored and that is the issue, you know. Because maybe, and I'm not there, so I can't speak for them, but this is Allison and her own thoughts. Maybe one person doesn't want the other person to get more glory. Okay. Or maybe they feel this person has too much attention or is in a majority and I'm going to hold them back. Once we find the common point, the people, and what we said we were going to do through our platforms, I am sure, I am believing in our in the people we voted for, that they are going to mature up for once. Okay. Mature up and work together and try to help each other's platform. And I think that hasn't been done before because everyone's been trying to push their own. I think if we do it collaboratively and we focus on what are your top 2, what are my top 2, I see you're pushing that legislation. Maybe if we do this and add this to it, it can also help mine. Let's co-author it.
Okay.
And so I'm willing to do that, and I believe, just in speaking to some of the people that are running, I think it's going to be a different year, a different time. People, including the candidates, remember we're voters too.
Yes.
We live here too, we're residents. Mm-hmm. We need a change as well. I have 5 siblings. Well, it's 5 girls and 1 boy. All away. I'm the only one. You think my siblings don't want to live here? So it's so important for me to push legislation that will make them think about coming home, stop the brain drain, and show the people that they can have a legislature that's productive for them.
Okay. Now, platforms and personalities aside, why should the people of St. Croix trust and elect you to the 33rd legislature?
Why not? The question is, why not? I've led the Department of Labor as the Director of Unemployment Insurance, managed over 85 people successfully, brought in over $12 million within 2 years in federal funds, regained the trust of the federal government, was hailed as one of the best performing unemployment divisions within 2 years. I was recruited and moved on to Assistant Director of ITEMA. While I was there, we were removed from federal monitoring. We got more plans accomplished than we did in years before. And we also regained the trust of the federal partners. Why not? Someone like me, not only do I bring the technical expertise that's been proven, but I also bring the passion, the education, the ability to speak, the ability to get along well with others. And I'm a mother of 4 who really has a stake in the game as far as wanting my children to have the best, like we did, or like I feel like I did growing up in the Virgin Islands. So I think when they vote for me, when they support me, when they push number 9 on August 4th, they're really voting for themselves, and they're voting for a transition, a transformation into what they in their hearts and minds know we in St. Croix can become.
Miss Allison, I thank you for sitting with me in the living room.
Thank you so much. Thank
We've
you so
taken
much.
your message to their living rooms, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much.
Thank you.